Jeff is here.
Yep.
Do guys fighting at training camp, does it make it more likely they're going to make the team, or are they just...
Not usually,
likely.
but sad news for Cowboys fans. The fight tonight involved guys who are definitely going to make the team. A bunch of starters were involved. Let's go ahead and roll the video. We should have known these guys couldn't play nice together. The Rams and Cowboys only practiced for about an hour today before 3 separate fights broke out. You're watching the last of the on-the-field tussles. In the middle of that one, who else? Number 88, Des Bryant. After breaking this one up, Coach Garrett and Rams coach Jeff Fisher decided enough is just enough. These guys called practice off early, and that never happens. Even when the Texans had their huge throwdown last week, both teams continued to practice. They just did so separately. But after what happened with the boys and the Rams today, each team knew it was time to call it quits.
Man, we're brothers. Like I said, no matter what happens, what goes on in practice games or whatever, we're going to have each other's back.
A lot of guys are obviously trying to do the right thing in those scrums, and that's pull people off and that type of thing. But unfortunately, it usually doesn't work that way. We're trying as a league. We're putting emphasis on it at the league meetings. If that were to happen in a game, it's going to not be good news for either team.
Like you guys saw, it was a pretty ugly scene today, so let's hope everyone got that out of their system and things can go back to normal tomorrow. Now we go to Houston, where they have been trying to answer the same question for years. That question, who's going to play quarterback for the Texans? After being asked that time and time again, Coach Bill O'Brien is starting to get fed up.
Everything that we do here, every decision we make is in the best interest of the team. We know that that's an important position. We know that the fans want to know. We know that you want to know. We know that you guys are trying to do your jobs. And when we decide on who that guy is, we'll make sure that, we tell everybody. And one guy will start, the other guy will back up. They both need to be ready to play.
The Texans will continue their preseason action on Saturday night right here on News 4 San Antonio. To college football, where the state of Texas has 2 top 5 teams, TCU and the Baylor Bears. Baylor is the number 4 team in the nation for a reason. They returned 2 All-Americans and 6 All-Conference players, including running back Shock Linwood. Linwood rushed for over 1,200 yards last season, but the word in Waco is they have a stable of running backs who can all produce in 2015.
At that position, it's all about just flow and feel and inspiration and rhythm. Those guys get in the rhythm, then you let them go, and then they get out of it a little bit, you get somebody else in. So it's hard to just play running back down after down after down. So yeah, we got 3 or 4 guys we feel really good about being in there, and they'll all help carry the load.
Baylor will open their season on national television at SMU. And based on how they played SMU last year, y'all remember that 45-0 win? I think the Bears will be just fine. To Little League softball, and I know many of you are probably thinking, Little League softball, really? Well, yes, really. That's because one of the biggest controversies in the world of sports today happened when a team from Washington threw a Little League softball game in order to eliminate a team they had beaten earlier in the week. This is how the situation breaks down. 2 teams from each region advance. Washington was already in the Little League World Series, so they intentionally lost to North Carolina in order to keep Iowa, a strong team who they beat on Monday, out of the Little League World Series. Washington set their starters, and the girls were instructed to only bunt or strike out on purpose. Little League officials came out and said this is not fair. But instead of eliminating Washington altogether for a violation of ethics, officials ordered a 1-game playoff. And guys, this is where the irony comes in. Iowa beat Washington in that playoff today, so they will be going to the Little League World Series instead. So now I'm curious, what do you think should have happened? Was the 1-game playoff fair? Was the Washington coach who threw the original game in the wrong? Or was he simply doing everything he could to avoid a tough opponent in the future? Let me know your take on Twitter at Jeff Jones Sports. Well, Seguin's Little League softball team managed to make it to the World Series without controversy, but played today in their semifinals game was suspended in the 3rd when the home base umpire took a foul ball to the chin. That ump went through several concussion tests to make sure everybody and everything was okay. Eventually, a new umpire arrived and play continued. The girls from Seguin are now down in this one, 6-0 in the 4th. We'll be right back.